I think like EDM music festivals, this is kind of weird, but I think they are like probably like some of the most important experiences in like our current world and life right now. It's such like a weird mix of like expression and music and cultures and like community. And I don't think there's anything I've really like experienced that has all those things all together in one place. And it's just it's just like a really weird thing to say, but I think that like music festivals, like electronic music like specific are like really amazing and probably some of the most beautiful things I've ever like experienced in this world. And I want to like talk about this a bit. And this year, or no, last year, me and you went to a music festival together.
Well,
And
you took me to a music festival is the way I think of it.
okay.
That was a really important part of it for me. It was you taking me and Courtney.
Okay, but you were interested in going. It wasn't like forcing you, right?
No, but you made it. You took all of the things that were scary, and you made them not be scary.
Okay, like what?
Well, I just had no idea what to expect, where to go, how long we were going to be there, what time we should show up. I just rode in the back of the car and followed you around the music festival.
Yeah.
You were my little Sherpapa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you guys kept calling us, me and Courtney, like the sure parents or
Yep.
like Sherpas.
Yep.
EDM Sherpas. But yeah, how did that experience like go for you? Like I know it's like it's hard to even like fathom what that type of experience can be or what it's gonna be like. I think that's one of the reasons I want to like talk about this kind of stuff is I don't think a whole lot of people understand what like electronic music festival is or what kind of people go to those things or why people even do it. But from before you went, what was like did you have any idea of what to expect from that?
I thought everyone was going to be on drugs
Okay.
and like out of their mind, and I guess I thought there was going to be a lot more people than there was. I was happy about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we chose like more of like a smaller type festival, whereas more kind of like a communal like size with it, where it's a lot more like connected on purpose because some of them are pretty big.
Yeah, I didn't know because that was my first one. I do remember you saying it was smaller than some.
Yeah, yeah. This was the Equinox Festival in Redmond, Oregon, last year that we went to. But when you first like went, like what was that like? Like it was a pretty cool environment, right?
It felt like going to a state fair or something, but it was all focused around music and expression. Not just the dancing, but everyone's. There's so many different types of costumes, outfits that people had.
Yeah.
It's like people get to rip off their regular clothes, and underneath is who they really wish they could be.
Yeah, oh yeah. I've always like describe them as almost like an adult like sleepover party or like where like when you're a kid you have a sleepover slumber party and like everyone's like in their pajamas and everyone's just like kind of being silly and staying up late and being weird and sharing how they feel about things. And it's like that, but just amplified like on LSD, which it probably was.
Yeah, it was weird to go to that rave clothing store beforehand and try to look at all these different options and picture myself in them. And I had a really hard time picturing myself in any of those. I feel like what I want is probably cyberpunk, metal or mirrors on me reflecting stuff off.
Oh,
I think
interesting.
that would be cool, but that sounds really expensive or difficult to make.
Well, you're a crafty person. I bet you can come up with something.
Yeah, maybe I can just 3D print it.
Yeah. Did you? Because I think we've talked about this in like some other episodes before, but you just like recently started getting into dancing, and like learning how to like express yourself in that way.
Yeah, I was trying to think about this. I think it might have been the second time I went dancing.
And you went to a
Because
festival.
it was with you in the summer.
Yeah.
And then I don't think there was anything else until that.
That's a huge jump in. That's like just diving right into it.
Yeah, I realized when we went dancing, the music mattered so much, and the music that we can find around here isn't always that good. And so all of these bands that I got to listen to before we went, I got really excited about them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I knew I would be able to dance just because the music would tell me what to do.
Yeah. yeah, I created like I think like 3 playlists for you so you can like kind of prep and listen to it. I feel like seeing live music is so much more enjoyable when you actually know the songs
Yeah.
and can like connect with them already in that way. And this one had some really great artists that were playing like big, gigantic, immersive. My mind's blanking on some of the other
Moon
ones.
Hooch was unexpectedly good one. The saxophone guys.
Oh yeah, the 2 guys that were playing saxophones
Yeah.
together. Yeah, that was crazy. And
Boogie T.
oh yeah, that was a lot of
But
fun.
yeah, that's one thing I liked about his set was the crabs came on the screen and everyone started doing some kind of crab dance all together. That was fun.
Yeah. What I liked about this like specific festival is it's like mainly centered or focused around just like weirdness, like kind of creative weird expression in some way. And it's one of the things that's like so different about every type of festival is it's like a completely different vibe. And by vibe, I guess I mean like how the music's being presented or what like the visuals are kind of like and what kind of artists are there. But I've gone to some where a lot of it's just more like heavy bass, which is like pretty typical. It's like kind of like the most like popular genre when it comes to like heavy, more like
Hmm.
EDM music. I'm not like a really big fan of that. I've enjoyed that if like quite a few times that I've gone to those, especially in the beginning stages of like dancing to electronic music or going to festivals. But I think over time I've slowly started to realize that I enjoy more of like the weird kind of like funky, groovy, like expressive.
Synthesizer. I love synthesizer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I also like vocals a lot. But you know what? I guess it really just depends on how I'm feeling. Like there's times where I want to like hear more like emotional, like lyrical music with like some heavy like bass music over that. But then there's times I just want to be like really weird and have fun and silly. And that's one of the things I liked about Boogie T is it was just very silly.
Yeah. Yeah. There was like 3 different feels. The Boogie T was kind of silly. The Big Gigantic was more happy, expressive. And then Mersive was very much like a helping me develop fuck you energy or like I am him energy.
Yeah.
I love the difference in all of those.
Yeah. Merce is very like angsty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is what's like so cool about these type of like music festivals is there's like all these different flavors of like emotional expression and you can kind of the more you like learn about yourself, I mean it might change over time, but you might go, oh, I might be connecting with more of this like I want to learn how to express or be a part of this expression of like being more silly and weird. Or there's some that are like really angry. There's like really angry electronic music that's a lot heavier and it helps people kind of get their anger and stuff out. And so it's really cool coming to these like festivals and kind of knowing what it is you're needing as a way to
Mhm.
express yourself. And then just being around thousands of other people that are there for the exact same reason and are using it as like an opportunity to really be who they are. And yeah.
I think that's something I've been missing out is setting an intention before doing anything.
Okay.
Karaoke or going dancing or doing improv or using a substance. And when you set an intention, I don't know, it feels like it's woven throughout the experience and you learn things about that feeling or that intention as you go through it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Have you ever been to a different type of music festival?
Yeah, I've gone to like metal music festivals. I think I've gone to some folk music festivals. Um,
Do you still seek those out or just EDM?
I think I mainly just I think once I've experienced like a EDM festival, I realize that it captures and it has a lot more depth behind that, like behind the reason why I'm interested in doing it than these other ones. And I think the reason for that is again like when you come to these type of like festivals, there are people dress up crazy. Like people like dress up in like whatever type of costume they want. It's almost like cosplay, but in the sense of like who they are as a person. So there's people that are dressing, yeah, more like cyberpunk. There's people that are dressing more as like spiritual. There's people that are like barely wearing any clothing because that's how they express themselves.
Elvish people?
Yeah, there's a lot of like elvish or like that fantasy type style which I actually like quite a bit. but it's I guess for people that maybe haven't like been to a festival or even know anything about it, there's like you're supposed to like have like a clan or a group of people that you're really close with, and people like bring and develop these like giant like
Oh yeah.
totems that are like these like almost like sigils or like representations of who their group are, and a lot of them have like memes. There's some that have like Jesus, and there's some that have aliens. And during the show, within this huge crowd of thousands of people, you'll see all these like flags or pillars of who these other groups are all around throughout. And it's just like it's just really amazing. It's like you're getting to see all these different like subgroups of humans in these from these different states and environments coming together to represent who they are. It's just so strange.
There were two that I liked in particular. One was a gigantic bubble machine that put out thousands of bubbles per second, and they just walked around through the crowd spreading them, and it like interacted with the lights. That was really cool. And the other one was a gigantic cock and balls, and they had a string you could pull, and it shot fiber optic lights out the top like it was ejaculating.
Just something so silly like that.
But it adds so much character compared to a regular concert. I love that aspect.
Yeah, it's so like I feel like this type of music and genre and also the culture around like EDM festivals is so like communal. Like everyone wants to have fun. Everyone's trying to share things with each other. Like there's like the typical candy bracelets where people write funny or kind messages, and if someone's really like enjoying dancing with you or being around you, they'll just be nice and give you one in this weird like gesture. But then like you're saying with the bubble person, like that person spent so much time and effort to create this machine that shoots millions of bubbles, and did that for everyone at the show just to add another layer of like coolness to it. And so I feel like everyone's all coming together with like trying to find ways to like add to this giant crowd of people that are trying to like express themselves and have fun and connect with themselves. And it's just like such a beautiful experience.
I like to think of it as kind of like the world of Zelda, where the designers put in little stuff everywhere for you to just stumble upon. And that's what it feels like going to a festival, where there's all the different vendors with all the different types of things that they sell. I had a guy make me a like crazy tie-dye hat just live right in front of me, whatever I wanted. There's some interesting food, and yeah, the totems are really cool too.
And then just like there's not many experiences I feel like as an adult where you just stay up super, super late and have really late night conversations with random other people that are like walking and coming across to you. Like everyone's so like it's probably drugs, but everyone like I've had some experiences where I've just had such deep conversations with random people from all over like the US or in a different country. And everyone's just like hanging out super late, eating food. Everyone's tired, but no one's defenses are up where they're like pretending to be someone else.
Yeah, everyone's open. It feels like a safe environment. I wondered if that would be different going to different types of festivals, if it's special for EDM festivals.
I mean, I think like anything, there's like if there's groups of people that are kind of representing themselves as that group, if that's how you like to express yourself, you're probably going to find other people like that. And I think I have experience from other festivals, different types of genres of music, that there is a natural openness because everyone's just so excited to just experience what that is. But I think the EDM festival just takes that to like another level because of how like into people get to like express themselves. And then also like drugs, like a lot of people are on drugs, and that sounds like scary, but it's a lot of people from the ones I've like seen. Like I've gone to some festivals where I think people are just like hardcore abusing like MDMA. I've I've seen people with their eyes like rolling back in their head because they're so high in MDMA. And I just like it kind of grosses me out. I feel like bad for those people. Do I think they're having like a happy positive experience? Probably. But is that like a healthy way of doing that? I don't know. I would probably say no. But
the people that stood out to me were the ones that weren't dancing. Like almost everybody, especially whenever Heath and I would go up to the front, almost everybody up there is dancing and really enjoying it. and the people that stuck out were not dancing. It's like, oh, I feel sorry for you.
Which is such the opposite, because like usually the default is like the people that are dancing, you're like, oh, like that's kind of strange. These people are dancing to
Yeah,
music. But to have like the inverse where the least amount of people are the ones that are not dancing.
it's a very supportive to dancing environment. I love that.
yeah.
So going back to having a clan, have you? What was your first festival like? Did you go with someone else? I guess I'm wondering what it would be like to go alone.
Yeah, so yeah, I was actually gonna bring this up as well. So I did my first festival I went to Base Canyon, which is kind of like a mix of a lot of different there's a lot of different artists there, but a lot of it's like heavy bass type style music because it's like ran by Excision. But I went there, I got invited from a few friends, which I'm like one of my friends, I'm so grateful because she kind of started, I think she realized this is like around the time where I was like learning about my interest in like spirituality and connecting with myself and started doing like yoga and stuff more. And she was actually like a yoga teacher. And she started like, kind of like injecting electronic music into me. She's like, hey, you should really check out this artist. Cause I was just like kind of dipping my toes in electronic music. And she kind of started kind of guiding me towards what she thought that I would enjoy, which was like Enzo, like Ellis Dream, Grizz. And it really resonated with me, like the type of like music and like the lyrics and like the type of vibe it was. So she like kind of recommended me going out to this like Base Canyon festival. I went there and I brought another friend who had never gone to one before, because I feel like he was wanting to learn how to express himself as well. And it was really weird being by yourself going to something like that, because I don't think I really hung out with the friend the entire time. He was kind of doing his own thing too, but it kind of gave me a lot of freedom because I would randomly just like, I think this was like right after COVID ended. It was like one of the first festivals right after COVID. And so everyone was there. And I think there was like 40,000 people, 45,000 people. And I didn't get to like, we were waiting in line to get into the festival for like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was like 4 o'clock by the time we got to be able to set up our tents in like the campground. But I just like started walking around and started like talking to so many random people and got invited to like their like little campsite and was dancing with them. People were like giving me things. And like I ended up making a bunch of random friends that I ended up hanging out throughout the festival with. But I think this is the reason I mainly wanted to bring it up is I actually had such a profound experience at my first music festival. I was going through, this was like right after I was going through like a separation and divorce, and I was trying to like figure out who I am, what makes me happy. And I felt like I was like doing fine emotionally. Like I didn't like, I knew there was something more that I wanted to like be or do that makes me happier. And I was just getting back into like trying how to dance. Like I wasn't very comfortable with dancing. When I was younger, I kind of danced more, and like I really enjoyed that when I was like a teenager. But as an adult, I was like, this just feels really weird. Like I don't know how to like do it or enjoy dancing.
When I think of someone wanting to go to a music festival, it's like, I want to go hear some good tunes.
Yeah.
But you keep going, you keep mentioning this, learn how to express myself, or did you go into it with that intention?
No, I had no, I kind of like similar to you.
It was just like going to enjoy the music.
Yeah, I think maybe I'd started going to like nightclubs a little bit to dance a little bit. And I started noticing that I like that feeling of like drinking a little bit, being around people, dancing. But I had never like, yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I just got recommended to go to this. I was starting to like the music. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just like have an adventure and just like go with whatever happens here. And I ended up getting, I wouldn't recommend people do this, but I ended up getting offered some like acid from someone at there that I happened to like know through this other random person that I met. And looking back, I don't think it's a smart idea, because I think you should get your drugs tested if you're going to take something, because you have no idea what the fuck you're going to put into your body. But fortunately for me, it ended up being a really good type of substance. But there was
the friend of a friend verification. Phew.
Yeah. Well, I was like trying, this is so stupid, but I was like I was meditating a lot around this time, and I remember being like scared of being like, oh my god, what if this is like something bad? And I was like meditating and trying to like allow myself to get like an intuition if that would be like, if I should do that or not. And I remember like getting like a visual of like a yes with like yellow like or like light color behind it, and I just like trusted that.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah, from my own like imagination. But it was this is like ridiculous. But so I get to the festival, the guy gives it to me, and I take it. And the moment I take it, I go, oh fuck. Like I swallowed it, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. Like that was the first thought that came in my head. I was like, what the fuck did I just take? I'm gonna fucking die. What if it's like a high amount of like meth or something like that? I'm like, I'm gonna like have a heart attack and die. Which, since I have body anxiety, like, or just anxiety in general, it's like not a good idea to do that. But I was like, I felt like I was needing something. Like I was needing an experience to like make me feel something very intense. And I think that's the reason why I decided to do something like that, even though it was scary and like literally like I was like shaking because I was so scared. But I knew that I needed some type of experience to like let my emotions out in some way. Like that's I guess what I meant by like, express myself. And I knew that I needed to find a way to do that because I feel like I couldn't get there myself. And I started like dancing in this big crowd, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I am feeling kind of weird. And what's cool about this venue is it's like at the Gorge in Washington, it's like this giant canyon behind the main stage. But then there's these grassy hills on the side that you can like look directly down on this main stage. And so I went and like laid down on the grass because I was like feeling it so strongly. And I'm like, holy shit, like what's gonna happen? Like start freaking out. And I like turn over to like the side, and this girl just like flops on the ground and rolls next to me. And she's super high, and she's like looking at me like sideways like this. And she's like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing okay. How are you? She's like, I think I'm doing good. And we just had this like small random like connection for a second. And then shit got crazy where I started like, I felt like my entire body sank into the ground. And like I became like my entire perspective just came from like almost like a first person view of just looking up at the sky and the clouds while being the ground.
This is extreme touching grass.
Yes, yeah. It felt like I felt like I was the grass. But I had this such a profound experience where I remember just getting this like super strong sense, like the clouds and stuff were moving into like different shapes that like represented things for me. And this is, of course, is the drugs. But I remember just getting this overwhelming feeling of being like, oh my God, I feel so lonely. And I don't think I like allowed myself to really accept that I was feeling so lonely while I was going through like my divorce. Like I felt like I was fine, but this was like almost like just acknowledging that I actually was a lot of loneliness like deep inside me. And I just kept going, oh my God, I am so lonely, and just like started crying so hard. I cried for probably like an hour and a half straight, just like not being able to move my body and just tears coming down like my face, just crying over and over again, being like, I'm so lonely. And after a while, I got up and I was just like very disoriented of probably being there for like a couple hours and walking around these huge crowds of people, not knowing where I'm going, and just bawling and being like, oh my God, I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely. And I randomly ended up walking. I didn't even know where I was going. I walked into the middle of like a show, or a show that was about to start. And I remember like, it felt like the music was like, I remember like taking that feeling of being of loneliness and being like, kind of like owning it and being like, yeah, I am lonely. And the music was like so emotionally profound that I felt like I started like moving my body to this music, and it was like helping me release it more. And I remember having this sensation that felt like an emotional orgasm, like in my head, where I felt like it literally felt like an orgasm in my head and just releasing all of my emotion. And after that, I like felt so mentally clear and so like almost like I could let nothing affect or bother me, that I started dancing so hard to this music that was like so beautiful. And it ended up being Enzo. That was my first time.
Oh,
I happened to
wow.
come across Enzo,
Huh.
who is an artist that I actually listened to a couple of their songs beforehand. And I ended up randomly coming across in this crowd of like 15, 20,000 people. One of the friends of the person who recommended that I came there was right next to me while I was dancing. And so then I ended up like kind of hanging out and like connecting with them throughout the show. But that was my first experience of learning how to kind of like focus and capture the emotions of like what I'm dealing with, not just in that day, but like in my life at that point in time, in that year or that those
It helped you
months.
develop a new tool, an emotional tool.
Yes.
Do you feel like you accepted that you were lonely? Was it something you were letting go? Was it realizing a clearer picture of who you were? What do you think that was?
Yeah, I think it was definitely accepting the fact that I was lonely, like actually acknowledging it.
And that it's okay.
Yeah, it was almost like I took like the emotion of being lonely and replaced it with feeling of something else. Like I almost like this like I don't deserve to be lonely, like or I deserve to be happy type of like energy. And so
Hmm.
it really I feel like that was the first experience I had with dancing or being at music festivals or whatever of taking what emotions I'm dealing with and learning how to transform it into something expressive that like makes me love and feel good about myself. And ever since that moment, I feel like I can still
Hmm.
capture and do that same thing when it comes to dancing, where it's like, oh man, I'm like feeling really angry. Like I feel like so frustrated and angry all the time, or like at myself, or that I'm letting things affect me, or that like I'm scared and like putting like allowing myself to put those emotions in front of me and then just kind of dance it out and release it. And especially if you take
Hmm.
like a substance like mushrooms or something, it's helpful to kind of release it. It's easier to release or easier to focus on what it is.
It's almost like you were saying, I'm so alone. I'm so alone. And this experience let you say, I'm so alone. And I have these other feelings also,
Mm.
happiness. And
Yeah, no, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, it's almost like I became aware of the fact that I can actually choose what emotion I want to feel out of this variety of being a human. But
hmm,
it's that experience changed me. It made me realize how valuable dancing is to me and how this type of music is, because I can kind of use it in a way, or not even just me. I think anyone can do this, of using it as an environment to kind of work through your emotions and like learn how to like love yourself and be who you really are.
it feels like a hack to the brain where you've got the music and it's building up and it's building up. And for me anyway, I kind of go into my mind and I love imagining things or fantasizing or daydreaming, and as it builds up and then the drop comes and it's this weird sense of release and expression. It's like you were working on something, now it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a emotional like foreplay. You're building up this like tension and then you release the tension.
And everybody's doing it all at the same time with their own individual shit that they need to deal with.
Yeah. And especially when like everyone is reacting to each other in that moment. Like it's such a unifying experience because like everyone's building up and everyone's like you're just like kind of loudly just announcing to other people that you're excited for what is about to happen, and everyone's doing that, and then it releases and everyone goes crazy and is having fun, and you really feel so connected to everyone around you in that experience.
I feel that I had the luxury experience of a festival because you and your older brother are really good at bringing people into the dance circle and seeing them maybe being a little reserved, or finding someone that's really expressive and saying join in, and it really changes the experience from just me dancing or me dancing with my friend versus a tiny little community that is everyone celebrating everyone.
Mm.
Did you do that from in your first festival, or when did you start doing that?
Yeah, it actually was that first festival. It was later that night. I ended up going to the main like when the main shows, the main like stage, and because I had like let go of all this emotional like burden that I was holding on myself, I felt so free and so happy. Like I just like felt pure love. I was just so happy to be alive that I was just dancing so like crazy to music, like going like so hard to it, and also just dancing with people around me. And I had this experience where I like took a step back midway into the show and looked up, and I realized that normally like everyone's facing the stage and dancing with the stage, but that there was actually a circle that I was like a part of where like 40 people were all dancing together facing each other. And I was like, and so many people would come up and like just random people that like I can tell like they were just like felt so much emotion. They're like almost like crying, putting their arm around me, just being like, wow, I'm so happy you're here right now. And I think that's what capturing that love feeling is just like being happy and aware that someone's like in your environment or around you. And that was the first time I realized how powerful music can be. Of you, like everyone's there to experience the music, but I think everyone really wants that of being able to connect and be seen by other people and to be yourself. And ever since that experience, I feel this like it's almost like an obligation, but I feel this sense of like I want to create that for other people. Like that experience was so empowering and like meaningful to me that I want other people to be able to experience that if they want it. And so I actively try at shows. If I can tell, I feel like sometimes I can tell when someone really wants to dance, but they're like a little self-conscious, and just being silly and dancing with them makes them feel like they can be themselves. And then they'll start dancing with you, and then you just start doing that with other people. And then before you know it, you have a big crowd of people that are all having fun and being silly with each
Yeah,
other.
whenever someone's like willing to be a little silly and they see someone being really silly, it's permission for them to maybe at least come up to where you are, and you're really good at that. And also you turn around, and that is strange for me to, because we're there to see this show.
Yeah.
But then turning around and looking the other way, it's an entirely different experience. I really enjoyed that. Even if there was no circle, I just liked turning around and dancing and looking at other people and seeing how they experience it. It was really connecting, and I loved that.
Yeah. So how was your like first time actually like dancing at a festival environment like that? Because it was really new for you. You took some mushrooms and you were like vibing. You were like, I still have a mental image of how like wide your smile was because you were just like so happy. But like, how was that feeling of just expressing yourself and being yourself in a big crowd of people like that?
I guess I'm going back to your idea of the mental orgasm. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done. I remember thinking as I was dancing, what else has been fun like this? And throughout my life, playing indoor soccer, where you can bounce it off the wall, learning to ski or snowboard, slalom skiing, actually, it's just so fucking fun and thrilling. But this was like right up there with all of them. And it was so long. It was so much pleasure and confidence, and getting to see a side of myself that was always there. And it was a really useful tool to show me what I am, what I can do. Yeah, it was so fun. I got lucky. Heath and I, one thing I love about festivals is the idea of personal space is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just rubs right in between everybody if they need to go through the crowd. Whenever the festival is over and everyone steps back, I'm like a little sad that that's gone.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that close, but whenever you need to be, I love it. So, but we wove our way up to the front, and for the main show of Big Gigantic, we were right behind the rail, and the mushrooms were peaking right then. It was so euphoric, and I didn't care about anyone else. It was just letting me express myself. It was really wonderful.
Yeah, I feel like I really got to see you being you, but having fun with it, like not afraid, being silly, being weird, and just like enjoying yourself. And I don't know. It still makes me so happy to hear that you had like a good
Yeah,
experience with
me
it.
too. I'm so grateful you took me.
Well, I'm happy that like it's almost like a pass it on type thing, because if it wasn't for my friend who like recommended that I go, like if it wasn't for her, I would not have really had these experiences. I actually had another friend actually who took me to one of my first like okay, it was this guy and this girl that I knew, and both of them kind of influenced me into what shows to go to. And so I feel like I owe like a lot of my happiness and like learning about myself to these two people who took the time to like recommend and kind of like help me see why those things are valuable. And so I do feel like it's a pass it on thing. Once you learn that for yourself, you should try helping other people see that. And I feel like you do that quite a bit.
Yeah, I would definitely love to take somebody and help them experience it for the first time and add that tool of how to see inside themselves. It's almost as valuable, or maybe it's more valuable. It feels like therapy, or like a whole new world can be opened up with that tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree that I think it's like exposure therapy. It's like if you know the rules of the game, if you're like, oh, what I'm gonna do is I'm using this like this way of dancing and being myself to kind of break down my ego. I'm forcing myself to be really vulnerable around people. And if I can find a way to like express what I'm dealing with and my emotions in that way, if I'm angry, dancing angry, if I'm sad, kind of dancing sad, the only thing that's stopping you from doing that is your ego or like worries about yourself. And so having an environment where other people are doing that is a really good way to like expose yourself to those experiences and feel safe. So I agree.
Yeah, I definitely experienced that. That was incredible.
I think what I love about these type of, again, like specifically like electronic music festivals is it's almost like I feel like it's almost like this religion. It's like this spiritual group that's like or spiritual movement that's like started. And I know like electronic music has been around for a while, but the like there's some where like the vibe is so specific about like connection, love, understanding, like support. And if you go to like a show like that or like a festival and there's thousands of people that are all there for that same reason, like they want to express themselves and in this like ritualistic way connect with love and connection and unity. And you're going there and then there's some artists that's what they're doing, like their images and their lights and everything are all representing like beautiful imagery of like nature and connection and humanity. And if you like, I feel like people that are going there for that reason, because they like in this world that where there's a bunch of shit, like bad shit going on, things don't feel safe, to have this safe space where people are all expressing themselves in that way. I look at it as almost like a religion or spiritual movement where people have like found this way, which I want to say is weird, but it's really not, because if you look at like ancient traditions or communities or like groups, that music has always been a part of it. Like,
Yeah, I'm thinking of like a ceremonial fire dance or something.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
kind of what I felt like whenever I was doing it. It was just connecting with me and this weird thing that's traveling through the air, hitting my ears, and everyone else is all at the same time. It does feel a bit religious where people will travel really far, spend a lot of money, cut out like huge chunks of time to invest in this,
Yeah.
but there's no sermon to argue about.
No, that's what's so cool is like in the sense of like a sermon, the sermon is like the way you're expressing
Yeah,
yourself.
everyone
is the
brings
sermon.
their own sermon and they work on it on their own. And so you don't need to argue about it. You can't argue about it.
Yeah. And I guess the only thing like that's underlying that is like the artist creating like like EDM artists creating an environment or space to like help amplify certain feelings that they themselves are interested in some way. So I guess like that they could be like their music, their show could also be the sermon too, but it's about like how you connect with it or how you express yourself while feeling those type of like emotions or things.
And I'm just thinking of what the artists must feel. Like in particular, Enzo. I think that his music is very euphoric and allows you to explore yourself and express yourself. He must feel really gratified and satisfied giving so many people that experience.
Mm-hmm. It'd be, I feel just so grateful that there's people that are putting this effort and time into creating something beautiful like this. I always think of like the artist Ellis Dream. I've seen him like quite a few times at festivals, and he like on this like the screen that everyone's looking at, he'll like start putting images of people. I think he asked them what they're dealing with, or like, and so he'll start posting this like slideshow of people messaging him like on Twitter, being like, "Wow, I've been feeling so lonely. I've been feeling so depressed lately. I've been dealing with like anxiety insanely." And then he's just like starts writing all this like positive messagery of being like, you're being seen. We all see you, and we're all here together. And we'll then like after all that's happened visually on the screen, we'll play a song that's like very connecting and loving. And so it like is kind of like a weird therapy session like all together. But it's it's just so strange. It's so weird but so amazing.
If you could go to and get this experience every month, would you go every month?
I don't know. I don't know about a festival, because a festival is like usually like 3 days straight of doing this stuff, and I think that can be a lot. I could see myself maybe every once in a while if I'm really emotionally needing something to do it that consistently, but no. But I usually want to at least do a show, like one type of show that's one night, maybe once a month, that plays that type of music. I think is really valuable, and I do look for that.
Yeah, the festivals take you so late in the night, and it messes up the rest of the next day or two. But I'm really excited about ecstatic dance that we just learned about from a friend we met.
Yeah.
Sounds like weeknight EDM music from 7:30 to 9.
Yeah.
And if it's the right kind of music, that's like the biggest thing for me. If it's the right type of music, I think I'll really get into that.
Me too. Like for me, the biggest part is just sometimes it's exhausting trying to be the person who wants other people to feel safe and dance. And sometimes I don't mind taking that responsibility on when I'm feeling good about myself. But there's times where I need more like a therapy session for my own self. And so being somewhere like that, where I've heard where it's everyone else is there for that same reason because they want to dance for themselves. That sounds just like really amazing to me.
And the idea that when you travel and go to another city, you can just find an ecstatic dance studio and you've got your people there.
Yeah.
I loved that idea.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how that works out, or like what that looks like. Especially that she was like describing that every like city's so different.
Right. Oh yeah, that's true. Hawaii goes really hard apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to like thank you for trusting me and going to like a music festival like this, or even just dancing with me. I think it's probably one of the most like vulnerable things I've ever had to like learn how to do. But I don't know. I feel like I felt more connected to you since we've like gotten able to dance with each other and experience that type of environment.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm so glad you took me, and also kind of got me prepared to go mentally, emotionally. That was a real gift.
Just trying my best to be like, man, what would have been helpful for me to know? And so I don't know. I tried my best, but I'm glad to hear it
you
worked
succeeded.
out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I'm happy to be your like EDM Sherpa. But now, you know what? Now you could be the EDM Sherpa, for other people.
I feel like maybe one more festival, and then I could lead other people.
Yeah.
I mean, you took 3 newbies.
Oh yeah.
That's felt like a lot. I maybe I could take 1 newbie.
Yeah, I kind of forgot. Yeah, like all 3 of you guys, that was your first like festival. It's just like I feel like it's such a risky thing, because especially when like substances are like involved sometimes, like mushrooms, you could have like really bad experiences. Like I had a really hard and difficult experience of the last one we went to, but I know, I think you have to, if you're gonna be the person that's trying to like show someone an experience like that, you also just have to be putting in a lot of effort to making sure those people are safe and understand what's really going on. Otherwise, if they end up having a really bad, potentially traumatic experience, that's on you for not helping like guide them or assisting in
Yeah,
a
I
better
think one of
environment.
the greatest gifts you gave, you didn't have to, I didn't have to cash it in because I had a good experience, but if I'd had a bad one, I know you would have been there for me.
Mm.
And that was, I'm really appreciative of that, even though you didn't have to do it, but you were willing to. And you would have missed some of the festival that you would have liked.
Well, that's like that's like the most beautiful thing about it is, yeah, the music and the artists, I'm definitely there and want to like see them. But the biggest thing for me is just that experience connecting with myself and with other people. And so that was the whole reason I wanted to go is I think it's so valuable for people to be able to experience that level of intimacy and connection in a world where we don't really have that all the time.
Yeah, the vulnerability was incredible. Just, I went to this weekend with people that I didn't know super well, but by the end, we were completely comfortable dancing our fucking hearts out right next to each other, looking each other in the eye. It was so like a really fast way to connect with someone.
Yeah, and then like the next few times you've hung out with them, did you feel more connected to him still?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've already been through a bunch of crazy vulnerability. So regular conversation is much easier now.
Yeah, again, it reminds me of like of childhood in that way. Like I don't think like we've talked about friendship before. I don't think it's easy to make friends as like adults. But one of the things that makes I believe that makes people get so connected to a person or a friend when they're younger is like that level of vulnerability of you're dealing with hormones and you're sharing that with someone else that's dealing with the same experience, or you have or staying up super late at night at a friend's house and you have just like no filtered conversations with them and you feel more connected and closer. This type of like experience where you're staying up super late, everyone's guard and defenses are down and you're just like really being who you are. That's like that's how you make friends. You just got to like connect, be who you really are and let someone be who they really are and just have fun with
Yeah,
that.
the festival experience is so good at that because you're traveling out of town and then you don't go home in the middle of it. You're staying with those friends and you get to talk about all the things that you've been experiencing and processing. It was really intimate. I loved it.
And having like a few days doing that in a row.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I don't know if it'd be as like valuable just having one day, but having a couple where you're like, oh, I'm dirty, I'm tired, and I'm gonna just keep dancing again the next day.
And then the drive home, that was so different than the drive there because of the vulnerability and the silliness and the connection.
Yeah, those like 5.5 hours went by so fast of all
Yep.
of us just being so silly together. It's still like a favorite memory of mine.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel and maybe check out this other video here.